I do want to welcome now Pentagon Press Secretary Brigadier General Pat Ryder. General, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Natasha. It's great to be here.
There was another new attack on a U.S. military base in Iraq, the 20th attack on U.S. troops in the Middle East in the past 10 days. What can you tell us about this latest attack and who ordered the attacks?
Sure. Well, we're still looking into the details. What I can tell you is that it was unsuccessful, no personnel injured, no equipment damaged. But again, it is indicative of the kind of behavior that we've seen from these Iranian-backed proxy groups. And as you know, we recently conducted some surgical airstrikes on some Iranian proxy group warehouses, facilities that were housing ammunition and weapons. And so again, the message should be very clear that we are going to take all necessary measures to protect our forces and our interests in the region.
General, are we seeing the beginning of a proxy war between the U.S. and Iran in the Middle East?
I don't think so, and I certainly hope not. Our goal here is to do a couple of things. One is ensure that our forces can operate and do their missions safely. As you know, we have troops in Iraq and Syria for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to focus on the enduring defeat of ISIS. Another terrorist group that we've seen wreak havoc in recent years. And so we're going to continue to stay focused on that mission. We're going to continue to stay focused on ensuring that they can do it safely and securely by deterring attacks from these groups. This is completely separate from the situation we see in Israel right now, which we assess to be contained between Israel and Hamas. And that's another reason why you've seen us deploy so many military capabilities into the Middle East region to send a very loud message, both to potential adversaries and to our partners, that we want to deter a broader regional conflict. And by having these capabilities, it provides us with a range of options to respond to a range of potential contingencies. And so going forward, that will continue to be our focus.
Earlier, I spoke with retired Air Force Brigadier General John Teichert. He was critical of the U.S. response to attacks on troops in the Middle East. Let's take a listen together quickly.
The best way that we can communicate to Iran is through strength, capability, will, and resolve. And I fear that the American strikes in Syria last night were too late, were too weak, and were accompanied by a tepid response or statement by the Secretary of Defense that only emboldens Iran, not puts them back a step. The Secretary of Defense's statement, Natasha, was filled with almost an apologetic tone, that it was all about self-defense and we were doing what we needed to do. And ultimately, we have been taking fire for the last 2 weeks from Iranian-aligned groups, and it is strength that will stop these types of attacks. And I fear that our weakness or lack of resolve only does embolden Iran.
What is your response to what General Teichert said?
Yes, certainly appreciate the personal opinion. What we're focused on here is a couple things. Again, deterring a broader regional conflict, especially in a time of tensions right now in the Middle East, and ensuring that we take appropriate measures to protect our forces that are operating there, conducting these important missions. And so, again, this isn't our first rodeo. We understand how these actors think and operate. And we also understand the fact that you never conduct operations in a vacuum. You have to take the broader strategic context into account to prevent potential miscalculation and potentially making things worse. And so, again, we are working very, very hard to ensure that this does not spiral into a broader regional conflict, that it remains contained between Israel and Hamas, and that includes coordinating very closely with our partners in the region to ensure that not only do we gain their insight and have the benefit of their understanding, but also that we're working together to contain this. And again, as I mentioned, this is not the first time these types of groups have done these kinds of things. We've seen them do it in the past, and we've successfully deterred them from conducting these kinds of operations. So again, at the end of the day, we're going to do whatever we need to do to ensure that our forces are protected and that they can stay focused on their mission, while at the same time ensuring that we're doing it in a way that does not make this into a bigger and broader conflict that I don't think anyone in the region wants to see.
Yeah, I understand that it's a delicate balance that is happening right now. I do want to ask you about the 900 additional troops headed to the Middle East. Where are those troops going, and is that enough?
Sure. So those forces that are going are providing important force protection and deterrence capabilities to include air defense. So you see us sending a THAAD battery, you see us sending Patriot battalions. They're going to the Middle East. They're not going to Israel. That's about as specific as I can get.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.